Today's video will have a disclaimer. This video may turn you into stone if you look straight at it. You might have heard, but I'm gonna explain anyway. Today's video is going to be about Medusa, the dangerous lady with snack hair who makes people solid when you look at her. Yeesh. We are going back into ancient Greece to look into this mythical creature and talk about her story, how it originated, and at the end I added some bonus content on which games she's already appeared in so far. And it's a lot! And now Assassin's Creed is doing it too. Let's get into it. Medusa is one of the three sisters who are generally referred to as Gorgo. This term is used for those with hair made of the living. The other two sisters are Steno and Uriel. Medusa being the youngest of the three and the only one found to be mortal. Medusa's story is told many times and always focuses on her hair of the living, since these snakes crawling from her head give her the ability to turn anyone that looks them into the eyes to stone. This ability is actually something that belongs to the Gorgon kind. Medusa lived in one place her whole life, on an island named Sarpedon, somewhere near Sistene. Now it's generally considered to be near modern Ayvalık on the northwest Aegean coast of Turkey. These names are not in my common tongue, so I apologize to those who are Turkish and Greek for murdering these names. I truly am sorry. Now, let's have a look at Medusa's origin story. Weirdly enough, she has two, well actually more than two, but two main general gists of how people tend to look at them. One of the story tells that she and her sisters were born in monstrous form, but the other one is probably more interesting, since it was told that she and her sisters were very pretty. So pretty that even the god Poseidon couldn't resist her beauty. Poseidon then rapes the poor woman in one of the temples of the god Athena, who turned her hair into snakes and her face into the most hideous thing imaginable, to punish the god of the sea for raping this beauty in one of her temples. Sadly, she can't change the likeness of any other god, and therefore the lady was punished instead. Poor woman. Medusa came to her end by the blade of the Greek hero Perseus, a demigod and monster slayer. He managed to behead the snake hair lady and use her head to stone his foes with as a weapon. He did so until presenting the head as a gift to the god Athena herself, who then turned her head into a shield, or put it on a shield. So where did this myth come from? Some scholars believe that some myths are actually, like they call it, quasi-historical, which means that the myth is based on an actual invasion with our hero Perseus leading the fight, where at some point they overran the god shrines on the island, where priests were wearing Gorgon masks and got beheaded. Later on, the story must have been exaggerated and put to paper. Information like this always makes me wonder what will be remembered of our age. Oh wait, everything is already being documented properly this day and age, so this never happens anymore. Fake news. So, with all that being said, there's some interesting facts that were still worth a mention. For example, Freud, if you know of him, suggests that she was not beheaded but castrated, as he describes in the book he wrote in 1940. It was a very complicated man, so if this sparks your interest, I suggest you dive into this yourself, because it's too hard to explain for me. This day and age, Medusa's head is used by the brand Versace, an Italian fashion company. Her face is also on the Sicilian flag, so not the Italian but the small island in the bottom of the boot. Medusa is also used as a symbol for nihilism, since you want to avoid looking into her eyes, also interpreted as avoiding the truth. So now that we know what Medusa was and where she comes from and why you shouldn't look for actually, should you look in her eyes? No, wait, now, am I a nihilist? Let's have a look at where she made her appearances so far in the game industry. So, the biggest title would probably be God of War. She's made an appearance in a lot of the God of War games, where she meets the same fate as she does in the mythology. Beheaded and turned into a weapon. In Spartan Total Warrior, you also face her to turn her into a tool as well, but they twisted the story a bit, so it's not very similar. She is an NPC in the fabulous side-scroller game Terraria, where again her head is a weapon of mass destruction. She's a boss in an old-school Zelda game, where she shoots balls and kind of bumps into you. She also inspired the in-game character Cassiopeia in League of Legends. And she's actually playable characters in Dota 2 and Smite. In 2017 they even announced a game called Medusa 2: The Quest of Perseus, which turns out to be a mobile gambling game. Slots even. Disgusting! Without a doubt, I've missed some of her appearances under this name or pseudonames. So if I did, let me know, and then we can add them to the list. So this concludes what I could find on our beloved snake lady with stoner eyes. Bad puns could be made for ages here. Let's not do that today. Feel free to do so in the comment section. Or you can let me know which story of the Greek era you would like to be covered next, since we are going to cover some Greek myths first and possibly other times mentioned in the first video of the series later, like Moby's Dick and something with a white whale. I hope you enjoyed this history lesson where we looked at Medusa and her dreaded story, what she's been put through and how iconic she seems to be to the game development industry. And obviously that she's going to appear in the new Assassin's Creed game, which hasn't been mentioned much so far. Anyway, have a beautiful day and lots of love from the Mastermind channel. What's up? Out.